guys, NNKH second channel here over at the secondary garage doing a quick review video on the MECHMAXX SG24 stump grinder I just picked up. Going to be using it on the Kubota B7500. Now this is rated for PTO horsepower of 15 to 45 horsepower. That's only 17, so definitely on the lower end. Find out how it works. You see I finally got this garage pretty sorted out and cleared some space. Still have a lot to do. There was a few questions about this as far as the dimensions. It looks much bigger on camera. It's actually only 36 deep by 25 wide on the outside, 25 foot. No, but it's a great little workspace, and it's awesome. I still got to get the mini split hooked up. For now, I'm running this little guy on top of the wood stove and using the chimney as a vent. Keeps the edge off a little bit, but still like, I don't know, 85 degrees in here. It keeps the humidity down, I should say. Anyway, let's cut this open, see what it's all about. After ordering this, it took just over a week to get here. This does weigh over 500 pounds, advertised 563 pounds. So if you're gonna order one, you gotta have a way to move it. Looks packaged very well, and the steel cage did a good job protecting it. Here's all the parts included. Got your owner's manual, a sticker, a toolbox with some tools, some spare bits, or teeth should I say. These are tungsten carbide, in case you break one, I guess. A deflector plate that we're gonna bolt on, along with a chainsaw holder and a PTO shaft. This wheel is 3/4 inch thick, solid steel, and yeah, it looks pretty beefy. So 500 pounds of fury right there. I'm going to start by flipping this around, 18 millimeter. Actually got a carriage bolt through the center, so quick action. Good and tight. And then snug down the center carriage bolt too. And bolt the deflector plate on. It's got 8 millimeter bolts with nylock nuts, 8 millimeter shaft, 13 mil head. Pretty sturdy. Installed the toolbox. And our chainsaw holder. Looking good on there, just got to tighten the buckles to get it centered wherever you want it, and up top you have 3 different holes to use. Oh, wheel spins nice, and that is some inertia energy right there. The PTO shaft it came with is about 34 inches from pin to pin. It's got the slip clutch on there. So you'll either see a shear pin on drive shafts, or this clutch is designed to just slip if the wheel's to lock up. Now I'm going to measure from the groove on the tractor side over to here, and I am 31 inches. And 34 inches in the lower position. All the way up is when it's shortest, so we got to cut the shaft down to that. And we're 34 to 31 is 3 inches off, but we'll add an extra inch, so that way be safe and never bottom this out, cause damage to either the tractor or the stump grinder. I got 4 inches off of both of these. Make sure to leave some of the steel shaft sticking out. On this side, I mismeasured it, left too much sticking out. That's okay though. Should still be fine. Take a rag, clean off the metal debris out of there, and then slop it up with a little grease. Oh yeah. Hit both sides a little bit, even though, you know, dirt can get in there, but better than having it seize up in the future. And then this slides on only one way. Of course, I also chamfered the edges with a file. Boom. Looks good. On the friction clutch for 15 to 20 horsepower PTO, they're showing a spring height of 1.260. I got the vernier caliper set at that, and you got to back these off a little bit. So I'm going to set those all to that as a good starting point. Great time to hit the grease zerks on the U-joints, the shaft too. And we can drop the shaft in. Tighten down both bolts on the slip clutch side. This is just the spring detent, slides on, quick lock. These chains, you can kind of hook them to anything. I'm gonna just hook them there, see if it causes any issues or not, but essentially, you guys know these plastic sleeves are just here to protect you, so they spin freely of the shaft, so your hair don't get wrapped up in there or something or another. I'm now gonna slide this PTO into gear. That should kind of lock out the wheel, right? And good idea to go around, check each of these 24 millimeters, make sure they're snug. They do have nylocks on them, but go ahead and go in and out of the PTO gear. Check all those, along with every other nut and bolt on this. I did find one loose bolt here. Good idea to go ahead and hit the grease zerks. You got one on this pivot each side, one right there, and whichever other ones you find, all right? Looks like these legs just slide up out of the way. Put a paint mark on here and then snapped off the clutch a couple times to see if this slipped, but it did not. I'm gonna loosen these off a little bit more and make sure the clutch is not seized to the plates in there, because you don't want that. You want this to slip under heavy load and shock. And there we go, we can see that slipped. And actually, if I just didn't have to start it, and just rock this back and forth, and you see it slipping back. So now I'll set that to where it was. Here's our first test, and it should be an easy one because this is a tree I just cut down that was dead, but the center's still rock hard, sides were rotted from the ants getting in there and such. Should cut through it like butter. Before you begin cutting, you do have to remove both of these stabilizer pins, because essentially as this cuts, the whole thing's gonna pivot back and then kind of pull itself forward. The effective cutting area is pretty much right here. Well, this is not a match for that at all. I mean, you can see it really does cut through like butter. I think generally they suggest going 2 inches at a time, but with the old wood rotted stuff, you can basically scrape it away. Just watch, you know what, I feel like I always keep my foot on the clutch, because if you hit a big rock or boulder, you want to turn that blade off immediately so you don't mess the teeth up, break something. But you can see the teeth are sharp, and that's cutting good. far as we got to go with that. Didn't want to go too deep and damage the roots of this tree, even though it's already got some rot on the side. One thing worth mentioning is as you're going forward, you do have to adjust the position of the PTO as your rear wheel. As I start riding up on this hump, it's lifting the saw blade up. So obviously doing it on flat ground is going to be easiest, and I would say if you're coming in tight quarters in the woods, you're probably going to want a more portable handheld stump grinder, which MECHMAXX actually sells one of those too. This did good in these tight quarters though. This next cluster took these trees down about 4 months ago, but you can see this one was rotted in the center. However, it was alive and well on the outside, and wow, that thing was huge for how hollow it was. That's why I took it down. But this one alive and well, so that's going to be nice and hard. And these exposed roots, I want to get this whole area just dropped down. Lots of poison ivy coming up too, it looks like. I don't know if I got you guys a good angle of that, but that is what happens if you just dive straight down into something. It'll start hopping and jerking, and that's when you can damage your tractor. Let's try diving straight in again on this edge. I just wanted to show that as an example of what not to do, really. I mean, it shows you right in the instructions. If you start diving straight into a stump, it's gonna get bouncy, and if it does, you better get ready to push that clutch in, or have this slip clutch on this loose so you don't break a drive shaft or your transmission. But you can see, even just that, I mean, that loosened this 3-point up quite a bit. So I'm gonna tighten that down. I mean, I think the tighter you keep this, the better off you're gonna be. 'Cause as soon as you get any slop, it's not gonna be good. Here's how we're looking. Just got to hit this side. So I'd say, I don't know, 60% done. Unfortunately, I did just catch like a block or something. And is this warm at all? No. And it went up there and jammed us up pretty good, stalled the tractor. So I gotta get that out somehow, because dropping the clutch, it just stalls. It's pretty tough on this kind of stump grinding because you just can't really get a good angle on what you're cutting. And I've also got chunks of metal down in here I'm finding, and all sorts of other ugly stuff. So, I mean, just a standard stump in an open field, you're gonna be able to get a much better cut. This is just kind of roll the dice. And it certainly doesn't like it if you're cutting at the wrong angle. It starts getting you hopping, but it's doing it. You might be saying, well, hey, if it's stalled out, maybe you don't have your slip clutch set loose enough. All right, I backed these each off a half turn. Let's see, while this wheel is locked up, if it slips. So I'm gonna leave this setting there. I mean, you see it's still stalled out, but it slipped, so not a big deal. Oh man, it's gonna be jammed up pretty good, huh? It's like all the way up here. Be cool if there was a big access panel here to like open it up and get it out, but yeah, it's a big old chunk of metal. Look at that. Wedged in good. Oh, there we go. Got something out of it. Going the wrong way, but trigger's stuck. Oh, I see the problem. Looks like there's supposed to be some kind of rubber seat down there and it fell apart. I'll have to order a new trigger seat for this. Yeah, there's bits of it coming out. Quarter power for the win. Ha! Piece of extruded aluminum from a truck body. Get that, so pretty heavy duty, but soft enough to get really squeezed and crushed in there. This side was against the top, and you see it super crushed the dirt. It's cutting through with the air chisel, that was working, but not so well, because the center of it's pretty thick. Anyway, all right, well, that was fun. Metal, that's not good. We're just finding the worst stuff you would possibly want to run a stump grinder through, but we will check those bits afterward. I mean, because this is a good test. And there's what we ended up with. I'll finish this off with the box blade and use a little bit more of that topsoil that came out of here and finish just in time to miss the rain. You can see a lot of chunks of the roots and stuff popped on out of there, and along with all of this metal stuff, that made this job very challenging. And you can see, you know, those teeth took a pretty good beating, so we'll take a glance at them later. I ended up hitting 2 more stumps last night, kind of deadish ones. That was cake work, and a bunch of weeds and stuff. You can see I got some vines tangled up in here, but I'm gonna do a quick tooth inspection, and then we're gonna go hit another stump that's pretty fresh. By the way, it'd be a good idea to always shut the tractor off if you're going anywhere near this, because if it went into gear right now, woo! But I never claimed to be a smart man. You can see quite a bit of junk was wrapped around that shaft. Wheel spin's free now. And all of the teeth look good, except we got this right here. There's a clump of wood that got jammed up in there, so that's definitely affecting performance. Let's see if the Leatherman can pop that out. Ooh, no, that's in pretty good. Well, I also found a couple loose teeth. Where were they? That one. Oh, good idea to check these every once in a while. I mean, that would still work, but it's you're better off keeping it tight. And this one too, a little loose. 24 millimeter. In fact, I'll probably just go and snug them all down. I had the PTO and gear to give some resistance, but if you're doing this, make sure you have the fuel cut off in, because, you know, a diesel could go firing up on you. Unlikely, but possible. You see a lot of these are packed with dirt. I was doing some back cutting too, which not designed to do that, but as I went backwards, I feel like these would kind of follow up the cut, the bottom ones. And then of course the nuts and studs get in the way a little bit too, but yeah, they do some cutting. You might have also noticed that this rear PTO cover is kind of floating around now. The plastic circlip popped off the groove, and that's my fault because I tied it up here, so as it, you know, goes to stop, it's putting some forward pull on that. I think on this leg, it's a much better spot. Tucker, come on. Babysitting their friend's dog. Little sausage guy. Oh, there's Gus. There he is. Now here's our next victim. It's a tree I took down about a month ago, and it kept growing up into the power lines. And I just decided to take it down. It was otherwise healthy. It is 15 inches, about 15 inches. So could be cut down a little bit shorter. One note, it's probably a good idea to rake around a tree. Like you saw yesterday with all the chains and debris, you don't want to, definitely want to check the area first. Of course, in that case, it was buried in the ground from many, many years ago. Here, we shouldn't have anything. I guess I should probably pull this car up, huh? Good idea to wear some safety goggles too, or glasses, but goggles are better. This time we're going for a different technique. I want to go all the way down as far as I'm planning to go, which is about 6 inches, and that's what this is kind of rated for, and then move over. But you can see as you go, I'm hitting the root there, which is pretty big, so it's, you know, it might start bouncing as you hit that root. You can see a honeybee got down in here too. Let's go ahead and save him. He probably came over from the hive, and I don't think they're gonna be too happy with me over here. So, whatever, they haven't stung me yet. I also forgot to take the pins out. And you can see it actually was cutting pretty good with them in, but of course these are kind of here to, oop, good thing I turned the blade off, right? I think they're mostly there to prevent you from damaging things, because if you're putting too much forward pressure, I mean, as soon as you see this swinging back, you know, okay, hey, let the blade follow through. These are getting basically showered in wood chips. Unfortunately, with the weather cooling down and the storm rolling in, they're kind of all staying in. Whoa, 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 except for this guy. Oh, he's coming after me. I mean, I get stung 100 times. I don't like getting stung though, and I feel like as I've gotten older, I like swells up a bunch more than it used to. I don't know, it's weird. I still have a little touching up to do, but that went a lot smoother than those multi-stumps yesterday, because I couldn't really tell what I was cutting into, and there was multiple little trunks and roots everywhere. This, when you're on a flat area and you're doing just one, wow, that worked really, really good. And you can keep going deeper, but you know, they want you to have that cutting angle just on the one side, but as you go deeper, your blade's ultimately kind of hitting where they say not to cut. Like you're contacting the whole blade, it's going to want to bounce it up more, but that went pretty smooth. So I'll spend a little time cleaning this up, and that's good to go. this point, I think I'm ready to close it out and give my final thoughts on this MECHMAXX stump grinder. I'd say for light duty applications that I was using it for in this video, absolute giant thumbs up. If you got a 4-foot oak stump, yeah, probably not the piece that you need. And as far as horsepower, 16, definitely they're right on point with the bare minimum. I was stalling out quite a few times, even when it wasn't hopping. If you're just taking too much, it doesn't have the power that you need. As mentioned, raking and cleaning around the stump first, great idea, but maybe using the metal detector would be a pretty good idea too if you think that there's gonna be a lot of metal debris or things down in the soil. Because if you get jammed up, it can be troublesome to clear it up. And flying pieces of metal coming out of there, not safe either. Speaking of safety, don't be a dummy like me. Always wear your safety goggles and make sure the tractor is off if you're gonna go sticking your hands in or under that blade. Make sure it's not rotating. Don't be careless. So I'll let you guys know how this holds up in the future. I do have some other stumps in mind that I'm gonna be using it on. I'll go ahead and drop it down on those kickstands, and then when I need it, pop it on, good to go. So appreciate you guys watching very much. Hopefully that gave you a good idea of what the MECHMAXX 24G stump grinder is all about, and maybe it fits your needs. So check out the link down below, double NKH too, and see you guys soon. All right, Autumn, I'm gonna go get back to work now. You be a good girl. You see Mommy's working hard over there too.
You can get the next one.
All right. I got a few more baffles to do and then I'll be in there. Well, yeah, should have done the attic baffles when we did the roof and new sheathing, but dumb me didn't think about them. I'm putting these corrugated plastic ones in the smart baffles. So I got like 8 more to do over in the hole back there. This is not my house wiring job, by the way. I know it might appear as if it is, but that was just a couple extra circuits. I kind of followed the theme of just slinging it all along, which, I mean, in the attic, it's like, that's fine. Just looks sloppy on camera as I'm looking at the camera right now.
Here comes Chris with the John, the second John, because I wasn't doing both.
Throw it out the window, might as well. Well, let's not forget about the goose man who's being a good little boy too. Yeah. All right, we'll get you out soon.